A few months ago, speaking at the Susan B. Anthony List Gala, President Trump called onto the stage 4-year-old Catherine Alexander. It was an exciting moment for the young girl, but just one small part of her and her family's incredible journey of life, loss, and the Holy Spirit's surprises so far. Take a look at this week's Pro-Life Focus.
She is full of incredible energy, spirit, and talent.
Most people will never be recognized by the President of the United States.
Come on up here, Kathy. Come on.
Especially not most 4-year-olds.
She'll be president someday.
For the president to call Catherine up was a shock.
President Donald Trump's recent mention of Catherine Alexander's adoption story at the Susan B. Anthony List Gala simply scratched the surface of what this Maryland family has to share. Already biological parents to 2 daughters and 2 sons, Bruce and Lisa Alexander first considered adoption after their youngest was born. But it wasn't until the 2012 March for Life when the Catholic couple decided to act.
Speaking about adoption, and I wanted to know what he thought about it. And that was the same time that he said, I was thinking the same thing. From then on, the Spirit was with us.
The fact that things lined up as quickly as they did, and what were typical sort of, I don't want to call them obstacles, but typical delays, or where the process normally drags on or gets held up, we didn't experience that.
The middle-aged parents recognized they were getting a later start than most other adoptive mothers and fathers.
That would have been when I was turning 50. And we thought that was a good age to kind of make a break between the infancy program and go to the early child program. So January 14th of 2014, we had come to the decision that maybe we should make that switch.
The same day the Alexanders made that decision, the adoption agency gave them a call.
She told me, she goes, I know you're interested in maybe switching, but I'd like to tell you that we have a baby girl. Neither one of us needed to take any time.
No.
We were like, we knew that God had just placed this, girl. Even at that point, we thought that this was the child that was for our family.
Even at the call, it was intuitively obvious we were being called.
Up until that point, the Alexanders were expecting to adopt a boy. The fact it was a little girl ready for adoption instead was what they saw as a sign from above. In 2009, the couple's oldest daughter, Cody, was riding her bike home when she was hit by a car. 5 days later, Cody died at the age of 16.
Our older daughter, who is with Jesus, in heaven, is who I prayed to, and the Blessed Mother. And I had a feeling that Cody had something to do with bringing this little girl to our family.
That little girl, though, was born facing an increasingly common challenge, an addiction to opiates.
Her mother, her birth mother, was addicted to oxycodone.
The adoption agency assured the Alexanders Catherine was weaned off her addiction during her time in the hospital.
Initially, I'm not going to say it was one of fear, or it was more of, that was just not one that had ever at least crossed my mind.
The adoption agency did advise or suggest that we call our pediatrician to see if, what they had to say about it. So I did, and what their response was is that there simply just isn't the research. We just thought that we would be provided for.
Yeah.
If Catherine needed something that, later on in life that was tied with, this addiction, that we would handle it.
Fast forward to 4 years later, and nothing is slowing little Catherine down.
How many seconds?
Do you go by Kat or Kathy? Do you go by Catherine? What do you prefer?
Peanut.
Chase and Brandon Alexander have fully embraced their big brother roles, from playing baseball.
You ready?
Yeah.
Pay attention.
To tackling the playground.
I wasn't swinging that high until I was in about 7th grade. Remember?
These teenagers say their much younger sister brings a renewed energy into their home.
A lot of the new creativity comes from her. And, like, what are some of the things you like to do with us?
Goof around with you.
Yeah, we like to goof around, tell jokes, and play.
And wrestle.
And wrestle.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, lots of wrestling.
Who wins that one?
Me.
Really?
Of course.
I don't know how she does it, but
With Catherine comes laughter.
What's it taste like?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Oh.
That's familiar to this family.
It was the wittiness, I thought, that both Catherine and my older sister Cody had, that they share, which is really just sort of those, not such cracking a joke, but more of like the comment at the right time. That is kind of, that you wouldn't expect from a 4-year-old, but just kind of fits in right with it.
It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence.
Yeah. I have always believed that Catherine was heavenly sent, that both Cody and God, if you knew Cody, she definitely had her way with deciding who was going to come to our family. But I do think that she just was heavenly sent.
From loss,
There have been some tough times in our family, and but God has always been there.
to new life.
Running back.
The Alexander family can see God's plan at play.
Thank you to the Alexander family for welcoming me into your home and for sharing your story with us all.